Hi everyone, welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And it's that time of year again. It's October, which means it is Inktober. And especially this month, the Inktober Tangles event takes place starting on October 1st. So if you haven't done Inktober Tangles before. It's really fun. Every day you get to explore a new tangle, and we're going to take a quick look at each tangle, kind of by itself, but sometimes I like to combine a couple of days. Um, and I also like to add color and some sparkle. So we'll just see where this takes us. I never plan too much ahead. It's very much a day by day thing for me. And there is a packet that you can download and find. It looks like this, and it is put out this year by Stephanie Jennifer. So big shout out to Stephanie Jennifer, CZT. Thank you for doing this. It's a lot of work, and we do appreciate it. And so many people really enjoy it. So thank you for doing this. So you can download this packet for yourself, and I like to print it out and kind of work through it. And I'll put the information down below. But what's really great about it is that a couple pages in, it starts with I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. It starts with it has each day and a little sample and the name of the tangle that we're doing and who it's by. And what's really great is that you can click on the name and it takes you to a step out. So this packet has all the information you actually need, but we're going to work through these together and have a lot of fun and learn a lot of new tangles. All right. So day one is Festune by Zentangle. And for this project, we are just going to need our um, basic equipment, plus I have a couple of metallic gel pens. So I have a white tile, and if you don't have one, you can use a sketchbook or computer paper, just anything to draw on. It doesn't even have to be white. Actually, you could use, I don't know, like an ivory cardstock or any color that you like. I have a black pen, um, a number two pencil, a tortillon, and then my metallic gel pens. And I'm using green and kind of a copper gold by Altitude, which they turned out to be my favorite. I love the Altitude pens. All right, let's get started. So let's take our pen. So for this one, I'm going to pretty much use up the entire tile. So we're not going to do our dots and our lines today. Um, but we're going to kind of picture a center kind of in here. And a little above the center, I'm just going to get started with my festoon. Now, festoon, when I first looked at it, um, kind of reminded me a little bit, if you look at it here, it reminds me a little bit of a UFO. But as I played around with it, it kind of turned into a flower for me, flowerish. So that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to start a little above my center and kind of draw in a little oval and fill it in. And then I'm going to fill in kind of aura around that oval, but much wider. So it's a bit bigger than an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter for me. And from here, you can start anywhere on the inside oval. I'm just going to start to the right here and draw a line out. And then when we meet the other line, I'm going to kind of curve around and fill that in. So for me, it's a little bit like fescue filling in there. And that's how I like to do Festune. Kind of like that. And I'm going to rotate around. And you can fill in as many of these lines with the little kind of bulb on the end as you'd like. You don't have to be too concerned about spacing. And if, for example, you went wide there and left a lot of space and decided that that wasn't for you, you can go back in and fill in another one. So it's that simple. All right, we made it all the way around. And I'm going to fill in another one. I'm just going to randomly choose, I think I'll go off over here and put in another small oval and fill that in. And then aura around that. A different way you could do this is to, if you prefer, you could kind of put in your lines first. So you could do it this way, put in your lines. They're a little bit curved. And then you can go back in and add in kind of just a little circle almost, and then fill it in. So it's just another way of doing it. I feel like it looks a little bumpier this way. So if that's something that you would like, you can go ahead and do that. And then we're just going to randomly put in more of them to fill our space. Now for this one, kind of doing a little bit of a hollaba effect here where I'm running into the other one. So I'm going to lift my pen, travel over, like pretend draw to the other side, and then keep going. And the same here. We're just going to stop when we run into the other one. I'm going to fill in one here. And let's kind of fill in this oval here. Just going to be behind two of them. So we're just rapidly filling in our space here. We can tuck one in right in here. We're not going to see a lot of it, but we can pretend it's kind of underneath the other ones. And if you picture this oval in this area here. And in this case, it's mostly just drawing these lines in there, except for this one comes out like that. So we have one tucked way down in there. I think maybe I want to add another line there. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to add one up over here. So your ovals here can be smaller or longer, just depending on what effect you're trying to do. But since I'm kind of picturing little flower like almost like a morning glory type of thing, I'm just making different sizes. Maybe put one off over to here. You can do as many or as few as you like. I'm just kind of putting them in where I see some space. That, and then maybe a final one here. And this one's definitely tucked behind the others. Yeah, I think that's probably enough for me. All right, so we have quite a few of them in there. I'm trying to think if I have enough. Feel like I could use, even though I thought I was done, I feel like I could use another one down here. Like that. And that's Festune. I'm going to pair this because to me they're like flowers. I'm going to pair this with some PokeLeaf. And just a refresher on PokeLeaf. And I use PokeLeaf a lot. Um, but it is, we can start, I'm going to start in here with a curve, and then I'm going to aura that. And then I put my little curve, my little smile down here. And PokeLeaf has this lovely heart shape. So you just come out on each side like a heart. I'm going to keep going. I like to continue like have these continuous stems. So I have a curve here. I'm going to keep curving there. Just so it has some continuity. A little smile. And then the heart shape. I think I'm going to add a little leaf there. So this is just adding leaves wherever you feel a leaf would look kind of cool. So yours might look a little different from mine, just depending on how many leaves you'd like to add. And just keep rotating and adding where you see a spot that is just kind of crying out for a leaf. And your leaves can be bigger or smaller, depending on how much space you have. Some people like to, um, I'll draw one this way, have the curves this way, and then the smile, and then this is probably the easier way to draw your heart shape. I guess I tend to draw a lot of mine upside down. All right, so we have enough there, I think. Then I'm going to go ahead and go in with some shading. So for Festune, um, the real magic in this is with your shading, and I just like to go around the edges here. I'm kind of going in lightly. And by the way, if you'd like to use colored pencil or something, I think that would look great too. Adding a little shading around our center here. So yeah, if you'd like to add, take the time to add colored pencil, that would look awesome. I'm not shading in any particular order. I kind of just go wherever I feel like going next. Some people like to go from left to right or top to bottom. I just kind of go wherever I feel like it. This is very light shading. And then these areas where there's some space, I'm going to go in with darker shading there. So, so I'm adding pressure to these areas that are not in the Festune or the PokeLeaf. Just want to make that darker, but I don't want to ink it in. You could, I guess, if you want to. I just don't think that's for me, but you could. All right, so I think I've got enough graphite on those. Maybe add a little here as well. And then I'm also going to add graphite just a little bit to my poke leaf. Um, just right where the smile is. You can do it either on the inside there or on, on the other side, the outside. It's up to you. I'm not being too fussy about it. I'm just adding a little bit of shading. I think I got all of them. All right, then I'm going to take my tortillon and I'm just going to start, I think I'll start in these darker areas here. Just blending a little bit back and forth. Tiny circular motions. Let's see, kind of get these darker areas here. And then I'm going to go ahead and go inside here. Like that. That kind of brings out the depth there. Oh, I think chalk pastels would work well for this one as well, because those come in some really cool colors. This one's tucked behind the rest of them. All right. So again, light back and forth motion with your tortillon, starting at the ink line and bringing it kind of towards the center, but leaving these white areas in there. And in the center, just go around a little bit. All right, so we have our festoon all shaded in. And then for the poke leaf, just around the smiles. Be careful not to put your hand actually on the tile if you can help it, because you don't want to smear it. That's when it helps to rotate if you need to. Absolutely do that. Okay, I think we got our shading pretty well done. And what I like to do is just add a little hint of color. And I'm just gonna go in with, I think I'll start with the green. And I'm just gonna work my way around and ink in these stems just for that little hint of color. That's all I'm looking for. Sometimes I like to add a lot of color, and sometimes I just like a touch of color. Slowly rotating around and making sure I got all my little stems. Just a reminder that when you're working with the gel pens or the metallics or the glitter, they take a little longer to dry. So just keep that in mind. Oh, I see an area that I want to maybe add a little bit of the darker graphite too. And I'm just going to go in with that. And then my tortillon. All right. And then another thing I want to do with my green is I like to actually add these little tendrils, and they're just kind of squigglies. Um, I like to go around and put some in wherever I kind of feel like it. So kind of take a look and follow your heart, and don't be afraid to just try adding them. So all of ours will look different because we all have a different idea of where we want to add them. So it kind of gives it that a little bit of a vine look for that, which I love. And then I'm going to take, I have kind of a copper gold one, and I hope it shows up, but I'm just going to add a little bit of that to the centers. Again, being careful because it takes a little bit to dry. So I don't know. I hope you can see that little bit of shine in the centers with the copper gold. All right, that about does it for Festune with PokeLeaf. It's really cute. I like it. Feel free to add more color if you'd like. Play around with it. It goes pretty quick, but I think the key is in the shading actually. Um, and I think looking at it, maybe I want to add a little bit of the darker graphite here, just to be consistent with the other areas. I'm going to add that, blend that out a little bit. And you can always, another reminder, you can always add more graphite, but it's not really feasible to take it away. All right, let's put our initials on here, put our top on there. And I'm going to tuck mine in here. I see a nice little space where I can put my initials. So I have my N and my H right in there. And then I'm going to turn this over Let's make sure it's dry. I think there's a couple of wet spots, but I'm just going to go ahead and be really careful. I'm going to just put it flat and then go ahead and fill it in. I need to put my name and the date. And these are the Inktober. 2025. And we have Festune. This is day one. Festune, which is our official day one tangle. Um, and then our extra tangle was PokeLeaf. But both are by Zentangle. I'm just going to put Zentangle HQ for official Zentangle um, tile. Not tile, sorry, tangles. And I think we've got all our information there for day one. Yay, awesome. And here's what it looks like. So it's very cute. You could add more color. I'm keeping it really simple with just a touch of color today, a touch of metallic. Um, and I think that's my theme for this month is keeping things simple while we learn something new. And we're going to learn something new every single day, which is the super awesome part of it. Because who doesn't like learning something new? All right. Our experiment for today is done. It was a great way to start Inktober Tangles, and I hope to see you tomorrow when we have Seedways, and that's very new to me. Seedways by Carla Joran, CCT. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. All right. Try it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you used more color. I'd be interested to hear about that. And I will see you tomorrow for day two. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.